Hi guys, so today's video is going to actually be a little bit of a game called 1 star, 5 star. And the way this is going to work is I have selected 5 very popular fantasy books, 2 of which are young adult and the other 3 are adult. And I've taken one 1 star review for each of these books and then one 5-star review for each of these books. And round 1 of the game is that I'm going to read all of the reviews off, and then the first round you're going to guess which you think goes with the other, and then I'll reveal which ones go together. And then once you know which ones go together, then you get to guess which pairings are aligned with which books, and at the end I'll reveal which ones are all together. I'll start off by naming the books that I have selected. So we have Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, Cruel Prince by Holly Black, Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch, The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, and Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo. Even though these are very popular, I still want to give you all a very brief synopsis of each of these books in case you haven't read them or you're not super familiar. So starting with Mistborn, this follows a girl named Vin and a man named Kelsier who kind of takes Vin on in a world that is ruled by the Dark Lord who won years ago instead of the Chosen One winning. That's kind of the setup. What if the Dark Lord won? That's the tagline. And there is a lot of magic in this story. A lot of the magic has to do with ingesting metal. Some people can only use one. Some people can use all of them. But they have to form this scrappy team of misfits to try and take out the Lord Ruler. Cruel Prince is one of the young adult books, and this one follows a girl who is human living in a fae world where they are immortal, and she is constantly picked on. They are very malicious and mean and sneaky, but the fae can't lie, and she can as a human. And so she realizes that she has this power against them. She can kind of become a spy to gain some power within this world that she otherwise should be powerless within. Lies of Locke Lamora is back to adult fantasy, and this one follows a group of people who serve the unnamed god, and this god is the god of thievery. And so it's kind of in their doctrine to steal. It's part of how they worship in a sense. So it's not like they steal from the rich to give to the poor. It's not necessarily that they steal because they're just so desperate, and it's not that they steal because they just want all the glory and riches. They kind of just do it to do it, and they get caught up in some stuff that was a little bit above their station, and now everybody's in danger and they have to rely on their wits to save the day. The Poppy War is fantasy, but sort of historical fiction fantasy, and then it's very heavily inspired by real events from our past. Our main character is somebody who faces a lot of adversity, but sees an opportunity to advance by going to this military school. She has all these expectations of how she's going to fit in, how she's going to defy the odds, and then those expectations sort of get shattered when it turns out war is a lot harsher than any of the people at this military school really expected. And then last of the 5 would be Six of Crows. This is a heist story at its core as far as the plot goes. You follow 6 different characters that all come together to perform the impossible. But it actually is more of a character examination type of story. While this is the plot that propels things forward, you do kind of spend a lot of time sitting and learning about every individual character's trauma. For those of you that want to play along, round 1, I'm going to be listing off all of the reviews, and I have kind of given an abbreviated name for each of the reviews, so that way if you want to put for round 1 your guesses as to which 5-star goes to which 1-star, you can use these abbreviations. So the abbreviations are Nevernight and Jade City, Anti-Social, Sexy with Gangster, Breaks My Heart, and Second Half is Better. Those are the 5-star abbreviations. The 1-star abbreviations are going to be Nonsense, Bad Language, Basic, YA or Adult, and Picture Frame. I'm going to go in order with the abbreviations that I just listed. So starting with Nevernight and Jade City, that one, this just says, imagine Nevernight crossed with Jade City and you've got this book. So that is the first 5-star. Now the next 5-star, this one's a little long, so I gotta look down and read, but it says, Note to self, you are no longer allowed to bring books this good on family road trips. It makes you antisocial. You ignore the great views outside the car. You resent being torn away from the book to spend time with family. And when you R, you babble incessantly how awesome it is, and how everyone would like it, and how cool the magic is, and how great the characters, and on and on and on, until your family is probably sick of you. And then, even after an 8-mile hike in the desert when you're covered in sweat and dirt, you let your sister have first shower, so you'd have more reading time. You even considered skipping dinner to finish it. This is the kind of book that stays at home in future, where you can sit and read all day and not be bothered. After that one, we have Sexy and Gangster, and this one says, this is one of the most unique books that I've ever had the utmost pleasure of reading in a long time. The best way to describe this book is that it has a dam-breaking volume of pure, unadulterated, sexy, with a bit of gangster. The next one, the Break My Heart, says, how do I write a review for a treasure like this that breaks my heart every time I read it? And then the last one says, enjoyed it more than I expected I would, though I think the hype over this book is for the second part of the book. It took me a while to get past the first part for it to get really good. So already, those are the five-star reviews. You can kind of start to guess which ones you think go with which book. But now we're going to do the 1 stars, and the reason I'm not having you guess based off of the 5 stars is because once they're paired with the 1 stars, which will be after round 1, that might throw you off a little bit, which I think is part of the fun. So getting into the 1 stars, these are not in order. The end of round 1, you have to guess which 5 stars go with which 1 stars. So the abbreviation with this one is nonsense. And it says, I'm calling DNF. This book is nothing but nonsense. Next one is Bad Language, and this one I think is my favorite of the 1-star reviews that I picked, and I think it's also the one that's gonna throw everybody off the most. It says, my child was so tired of the graphic details and language of this book. The next 1 star, you are definitely going to want to use the abbreviation of BASIC for this, because I'm gonna read quite a bit of it, but I had to because it's so condescending that I found it really funny. So it says, part of my reaction to this book may stem from the fact that members of my writing group raved about it. They're younger than I am, so maybe this is a good book for younger readers who haven't read as widely. But I was disappointed, and part of my reaction may also stem from the tedium of the predictable religious themes in which, to a sort of moral certainty that I dislike in any work of literature, genre or otherwise. I'm in the reading experience, especially the fantasy or speculative fiction experience, for the way in which it allows me to visit different perspectives and explore the intersections of different individuals and cultures' understanding of how to navigate complex situations. Read it if you like basic fantasy. Look for more complex, nuanced, and well-written works if you're searching for a truly absorbing story. The next one is YA or adult, and it says the tone is inconsistent, almost as though the author began intending to write a young adult book and was later encouraged to make it an adult novel, but couldn't decide between the two. I didn't find the writing engaging because the prose is so basic and frequently inelegant. The dialogue just doesn't fit the setting at all. It's far too contemporary, making it jarring to read, and the world building was lacking in clarity. I apologize that one also contained the word basic in it, sorry, but that's the one that's YA or adult. So moving on to the last one now, it says the pacing is awful. Nothing happens, but at least the author takes a while describing the nothing. It reminds me of an overly ornate picture frame, tons of time spent on carving a complex and intricate frame, but missing the point that people come for the picture, not the frame. And then of course that one is the picture frame one, the abbreviation for that. So this is the end of round 1. If you'd like to leave your guesses for round 1, and then you can go back and edit your comment later if you'd like. But if you want to leave your guesses for round 1 to see if you can pick out which 1 stars go with which 5 stars, I'm going to show all of these to my husband. He is going to guess which goes with which, like you all might be doing. And then you can kind of see him struggle.
Second half was better. I'll do that one with YA or adult. Sexy Time with Gangster, or whatever it was.
Sexy Time? No, just Sexy with Gangster.
With Bad Language. I feel like those could go together. I'll do Basic and the girl who talked about it on her hiking trip and her friend or sister showered or something. And I'll do Jade City thing with DNF. Right? And someone just say they like DNF'd it.
A DNF'd it because it was a bunch of nonsense.
Yes, that's what I'll do. And then I will do the whatever is remaining.
Now, letting you know which 1 stars go with which 5 stars, and then after you know that, you can see if you got it right from round 1, but then you can also now try to figure out which books these go to. So, the first 5 star, the Nevernight and Jade City combined, goes with young adult or adult. The next one, the antisocial one, that's very, very long and just overwhelmingly praising the book, goes with the condescending basic 1 star review. The 5 star that is sexy with gangster goes with the picture frame negative review. The breaks my heart one goes with the nonsense one that the person had to DNF. And lastly, the second half is better 5 star review, the only one left, is the bad language one. So you got 1 out of 5. You want to know? Well, I'm sure you want to know which one.
The gangster one.
No. You got the antisocial and basic one.
Yes. Not a passing grade. Okay, doggy.
So now you guys get to go back. You get to let me know your guesses for which of these goes with which book, and then on to the reveal. Now that you know those, now we have to figure out which books they go to.
All right.
So I'm going to give you a hint, okay?
I don't want any hints.
You don't want any hints? Okay,
No.
That's fine. No hints then.
No hints. I feel pretty good about this.
Okay, let's see. Sure you don't want that hint?
Yeah, I'm sure. So
Okay.
basic / the best thing I've ever read in my life is Mistborn.
Okay.
The YA adult one, would that one go with?
It's Nevernight with a combination of...
I'm going to say Poppy War.
Okay.
And we have Gangster and
Picture frame.
Picture Frame. I'm going to go Lies of Luke and Leia. I'll do Cruel Prince for nonsense.
Okay.
And Bad Language for Six of Crows.
Alrighty, the first one, which is Nevernight combined with Jade City, which its 1 star companion was the one that said, is it young adult or is it adult? This is paired with the Poppy War. The next one, antisocial and basic, Mistborn. Sexy with gangster and picture frame is Lies of Locke Lamora. Breaks my heart and nonsense were together, and that went with Six of Crows. And then the most confusing one to me, the most confusing, was the one for Cruel Prince by Holly Black, where you have it saying that the first half is not as good and it gets way better in the second half, and then that somebody's child had to stop reading it because it was so graphic, and the language... You want to know what the hint was?
Yeah.
That bad language doesn't go with the one you might think it would go with, and also that it goes with one of the young adult books.
So I was right.
You were wrong.
Oh.
I know. I said it doesn't go with the one you would think because it goes with the Cruel Prince. But you got all the rest right. You mixed up the Cruel Prince and Six of Crows.
Dang. I thought I was for sure right.
Yay! 3 out of... You were so close because you just mixed up those last 2. But 3 out of 5 and then 1 out of 5.
So my total was 4 out of 10.
Yeah.
That is a super F.
No, it's not bad seeing as you've only read 1 of the books. So this was all based off
That's
of
true.
What you've heard me say.
I think the first part was definitely harder because that's just like what strangers think.
Right. Well, what I found funny about those is that there's... Because you will read a 1 star and you read a 5 star, and it makes you realize how unhelpful reviews are because they could be talking about totally different books. They're so different.
So different. So don't listen to reviews, kids. On your book review channel.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for playing.
You're welcome. And thank you for watching me play.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.